Hey, my little bats, and welcome to another Mercy review. It's been a long time since I've posted anything, so I decided to fulfill a request by you guys on WordPress and Facebook, and I finally checked out the 2013 version of The Evil Dead. I tried my hardest to watch it all the way through, but to be honest, I only made it to 63 minutes in out of the full 90 minutes. And that whole time, I was actually really bored. I appreciate the little effort that was there. But I was watching with my boyfriend because we're big fans of the Evil Dead trilogy, and we were playing with the cats and getting up to make food and reading comic books, and it just turned out to be one of those movies that you just put on in the background that you don't really listen to. So here are my thoughts, and I hope you enjoy. First things first is that I think that if they were going to make another Evil Dead, I think it should have been maybe a prequel to the first Evil Dead to understand where the odd book came from and whose voice it was on the tape recorder in the original. And that sort of thing. Kind of like what they did with the remake of The Thing. My boyfriend is a big fan of that movie and told me that was a prequel. So yeah, they could have done something like that in my book. The one thing that turned me off about this film right away was how it started off with dramatics. Now, you have like the ex-dope addict there and her brother, and they're all blah, and it kind of makes me feel like Lifetime Movie Network meets horror. It didn't really do anything for me. The possessions were not creepy whatsoever. What I like about the original Evil Dead is when the two chicks are playing cards and that one chick's by the window, you don't expect her to turn around and tell them they're gonna all die. You just think she's there looking out the window. In the new Evil Dead, it's predictable. You can tell where the possessions are going to happen. Maybe it's because I've watched the 1981 Evil Dead so much, but at the same time, the music gives it away. And, you know, it's just like any other paranormal movie out there today. It didn't have that kooky feel, and I think partially is because I don't think people actually go out camping in a cabin anymore. Nobody really does anything but sit on the web and live through the internet. And granted, I'm on the internet, but I'd go camping in a secluded cabin any day and mess around with weird tape recorders. But that's just me. Also, another factor that I didn't like is how they had all these pretty boy people in there. The acting was really horrible. I didn't find it interesting. It was very rehashed. If this was going to be a remake, it could have been a lot better. I don't think they should have made it so, I don't know, new. The whole computery, HD, that crap doesn't do anything for me. But I'm a classic horror fan, guys, and I do have to say that a lot of my friends that have viewed the new Evil Dead, I didn't know of the original Evil Dead, have come to me and told me, "Oh, Mercy, you gotta check this out. I'm going to the theater to see this movie." I recommended the original version to them, and they enjoyed it so much more than this newer version. The new Evil Dead is definitely for the new age of horror fan. Hopefully, they'll take a look back at the 1981 version and see the pure awesomeness of the Evil Dead. I don't really have a lot to say about this film because, like I said, it didn't keep my attention. the way the original did. If I paid money to see that in the theater, I'd probably demand my money back. And for those saying that, oh, Mercy, you know, you don't like any remakes, I actually enjoyed the new Carrie that came out, the remake. That was actually pretty decent. So it's not all remakes. I need to learn to breathe when I talk. So one thing is for certain though, what I did like is how they kept, like, they had the old car from 1981 there rotting in the trees, and they still had the weird basement, but they took out the funky tape recorder. Now what is more freakish than finding this weird thing in your cabin? It was a little bit too weird when they found the stuff in the basement. It's like common sense would tell you that if you see dead things hanging from the ceiling of the cabin, that you are not going to stay there. Whereas in the original Evil Dead, yeah, it was just a weird kooky basement, but you thought it was just somebody pulling pranks. You didn't really think, hey, you know, these people be weird. So that was another factor where it was kind of like a bit much. I think it went a little bit over the top. Granted, here I am talking about how a paranormal movie can be over the top. Yes, it can be. I think a lot of new horror movies should take a look at the classics and see what made them classics, and stop trying to be so HD and so computer. I mean, bring back the cheese. The cheese is what makes it great. And I think another thing too is taking the B movie and trying to make it such a popular movie. You had to make it so, you know, you had the little bit of drama there, and you had to have the pretty boys for the girls that just go to this movie to hug their boyfriend in the theater, that sort of thing. It's definitely a teen movie date night sort of thing. So if you're a teenager and you're trying to, you know, get close to your gal or your boy, I guess you could put this cheesy movie on, because you sure as hell would not be watching it. You'd probably just be, well, I don't know where I'm going with this. So yeah, that about wraps it up. I don't rate this anything because I could barely keep my attention. In the comments below, recommend. Choose what you'd like me to review next. I am gonna come up with a Conjuring video, which I'll probably record after this, so you'll get 2 videos in one night, because I've been slacking. So thank you very much for watching, and stay updated with my channel, because a lot more is coming up, and I appreciate it all, and thanks for following me on WordPress. Have a good night. Bye.